Fogra. The following podcast is intended for an over-18s audience and may contain strong language.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear, the crowd is here.
Welcome back everybody to Loud Crowd Movember Special Episode 2. Tonight we have myself, Bobo, Cormac, Paddy and Dada. Just a bit of a recap on last week's episode. I thought the lads spoke brilliantly. To be honest, it was very deep, and people I spoke to have said, everyone has said like they've done very well, and fair play to them for opening up. So any of your thoughts on it, lads?
Yeah, I enjoyed it now. I enjoyed the bit of personal from Dean as well. I know we knew, some of us may have known a wee bit about it, but it was good to see him open up. And you know, I think there's a lot of people that would have had sort of coping mechanisms, I suppose. But yeah, I thought it was good to let your feelings open, because people probably didn't know. I think we got a lot closer as a group, but when we got closer as a group, we probably shut more people out, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think when... Sorry, Paddy, yeah.
No, I was just going to say it's kind of hard to talk to people sometimes and open up, so fair play to the lads, like, big time. Even as you said, Daughter, you kind of shut a lot of people off that are just trying to help in a sense, but like, it might seem like they're being nosy at the start, like, and you're kind of want to tell them to go away and whatever. But no, people really do care, like, and it shows with the group of friends we've had and the things that have happened to us, like, it's just brilliant. Fair play to the lads again. Hopefully we can touch on some of the same things now tonight. Maybe some of our own coping mechanisms and our own feelings on it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I think the point of doing all this as well is mainly for us to kind of talk publicly about us and how comfortable we are with each other talking about it, but also normalising it. You know, the kind of whole point of it is, as of Movember, is raising awareness and, as we said, making it okay to talk about it and come out with a problem that you're having, how you're feeling, etc., etc. So that's why, as we said, throughout the month we're going to be having the likes of this, talking about our instances, what happened to us, how we coped with it, etc., etc. You know, but yeah, again, just to repeat what the lads said, fair play to the lads. Great to start it off, you know, brilliantly, talking about everything. And yeah, we can just give our perspectives in this episode. Yeah.
I think on mine, probably a bit. I don't know if I suppose I had a coping mechanism. I think a lot of the passing away, they were all different in their own sense. Like those, obviously Morgs was, you know, a shock.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to maybe speak a bit about it in that first, like we were just sitting in Rob's. I think we were actually out, well, we were in Ridley's or something, I think, and was it me, yourself, Rob, and I think it was Fra
was there, yeah. We all stayed in Rob's that night, yeah.
Yeah, we all stayed in Rob's that night, and we obviously got a phone call. I got a message off one of the boys, and then it was on the news, and I remember it was just on the news, and it was saying, was it saying a 20-year-old, and I think it was 19 at the time, it wasn't the right age.
Yeah, and there was,
and we were kind of trying to deny it. We were like using that to go, and we're like, nah, it can't be mugged. Like, do you know what I mean? But then obviously when we obviously found out it was confirmed, I think, like,
you're almost kind of denying it, or not denying it, but thinking it can't be real.
Shock, like.
It's very surreal. It was my kind of, I suppose,
surreal is a good word,
Yeah, it was my first big experience with something like that, and I remember I was speaking to Rob about it, and you're kind of like, he turned around and said to me, I think 20 is possibly the worst age you could pass away, because it's like when you were younger, like one of my childhood friends passed away as well, and you didn't really understand it, I don't think. Whereas when you're a teenager, maybe, you know, you lean on your parents a wee bit more. We were all 18, 19, 20, 21 or whatever. And I just think it was a point in time nearly where we all lent on each other as well, which was a good thing, you know, like we all got obviously closer too. Yeah,
but as a teenager, you said yourself, you become more emotionally aware.
Yeah.
Do you know, as you said, when you're younger, if you go through a loss when you're that young, you don't know what to make of it. You know, your mom and dad, like, again, you don't know how to process it. as I said, as you get older, you start to become more emotionally aware of everything. And when you're 20, you'd like to think, you know, you're emotionally aware, as in, you know, you can feel everything. You're close with your friends. You've established a life, let's say.
No.
You know, I remember myself actually when the day it happened. I think I rang you as soon as one of the boys put in the chat, lads, what's happening? They didn't say anything about it. Let's go, lads, what the fuck's happening? And I was like, what's going on here? Like, and they were just like, don't know. And then I rang you straight away, and you didn't answer, but you texted me after, because obviously you couldn't take the phone call. But you texted me straight away, and you just told me, and I was on my way into work.
I was trying to get you back for ignoring me so many
You got a disaster for that, our phone was probably in Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, thank you. But
I have it off now.
Yeah, I think I'm
emotionally maturing, you know.
I think I was on my way back. I was on my way into work. I think I was working part-time for college in Diesel in the Marshes, and you texted me and told me everything, and it took like an hour or two to process. You know, I walked in and everyone else, the news had already broke, and they were like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, look, I'm fine, I'll be grand. Opened up the shop within the hour, just out of nowhere. I was just kind of standing there folding clothes, and I just started bawling my eyes out, and I was like, I have to go home straight away. It just took like an hour just to process in my mind what had actually happened, you know.
Pure in denial about what happened, like, you don't want it to be real, like, you don't want it to be real, like.
What happened to me was, like, I was out with you that night, and I was at home, and my mum and dad and my two brothers were actually away in the Caribbean at the time. My auntie rang me, and I was only awake. Like, you know, when you're like, the phone rings and you're awake and you're out, and I was like, do you know Conor Morgan? And I was like, yeah, why? And she was like, oh, I heard he died in Hollis there. And I was like, what? And like, obviously when you're just awake, you don't know what's going on. And I was like, right. Yeah, and then I woke up and I looked outside like the windows, and I seen Doe and I think Fra sitting outside Fra's, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like it's after happening, like it's. And
did any of us have any particular coping mechanisms for it?
For the week now it happened, as I said, my mum and them in the Caribbean. It's not an easy place to get home from.
You had to run the world, you know what I mean? But
it kind of kept me focused, like, for the week. And then I think we went out for food. I was with Cece in a few years, like, every night just kind of meeting up until the actual funeral. Because at home, like, I was home by myself, and in fairness, like, my family and that came in, and with yourselves, it really helped at the time. Because normally at that stage, like, you're kind of leaning on brothers or parents and all that at the same time. And then when you're away and you kind of had to focus, especially with working that as well, couldn't naturally take it off, and they were trying to get home as soon as they could, and it was tough, like. But I think the fact that, as I said, with great support group of friends, it was just, but it at night, and that's when you're sitting in the house by myself, I was going, Jesus Christ, like, it was.
I don't think I was away from the boys that week. Yeah. Every time I walked into my house, I felt like somebody else was coming to pick me up, like. So I nearly felt bad for me mother around the time. She kept asking me about like what was going on and what the arrangements were and how I was feeling, like, and you're nearly just pushing them away extra. Like, I don't want, as I said, don't want to talk to anyone but the boys, like the boys who actually know what's going on, like. And then, but thinking back now, like, I actually feel a bit of a dickhead on me mother, like, yeah, like, why was I been such a little whatever, like. But
she said it's not someone trying to be nosy, it's like your mom, like, it's,
I know, but like, you're just nearly angry, you're like,
time,
you're like,
I've experienced it before with their own friends, though, and then you're saying, oh, you don't know nothing about this, when clearly they have some sort of life experience, like, you know.
They do.
But yeah, I think that the big coping mechanism for me was being with the boys. I think another one was crying, to be honest, like, going home. Sometimes you say, I don't think crying's always a bad thing, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. You need to let it out.
Every time you cry, you feel better. I think that's a fact. It's like getting sick on a night out. You feel better afterwards. You don't want to do it, but you feel better afterwards. You know what I mean?
Real world comparison.
Yeah, real world comparison, yeah.
Sorry, no, absolutely. Like, it's like, obviously it's a build up of everything, and then it's just you're letting it like go, and then especially if you have people cry by themselves, but like if you're crying in a group, like, it
like, makes people awkward. That's why I'd nearly rather cry by myself. Like, when we were out with the boys, like, all I remember from them times is going to Tesco car park, going to Boyd's, playing the football tennis with the boys. Yeah. That was our coping mechanism, and we'd be out till 11 every night playing it. You
were terrible at it, by the way.
No, but like, even like
when you see it crying, like, remember I think it was Duffy that made a video of like when Sean passed, and it was Coldplay Fix You Come On, and I was at Coldplay then in Wembley like 2 weeks later. And I was
That's
with
it,
Doe and Mark and the scene, and Fix You come on, and the three of us were sitting there sobbing like thing, and there was these girls from like Norway or something like putting around like consoles. Then we got back into London, the kebab, it's like we were in the kebab shop and rocked in, night out party, you know yourself. And walked in, and the big point, they were the lads who was crying. We were like, right, go on, good luck, like, away straight away. But so the good cry, like there, like I was saying, what triggers and all that was mentioned last week, like some songs would like really trigger me.
Should have their songs, like Mog's one's obviously the Avicii.
Yeah, and You Raise Me Up played at his funeral, and then my granddad passed away there a couple of weeks ago, You Raise Me Up, he was a big Westlife song, and I was fine the whole way through the funeral, and when that song come on, I was just in floods. Like, it's a brilliant song, but I hate it.
See, as in coping mechanism, crying is this. Like, I would go and watch stuff like, do you know what I mean? Like motivational stuff, like motivational speeches. There's a good few Goldcast ones. I told numerous people, I don't think one ever listened. It's a 50-minute video, but like stuff like that where you're hearing people how they had challenges or difficulties in their lives and they turn such negatives into a positive. Like, there's one, and it's Phoebe talking from Friends, and it's actually one Lisa Kudrow, and she's saying that before she got Friends, she was basically cut. I can't remember the name of the TV soap she was cut from, but it was meant to take off. It was meant to be the best one. And one of her actor friends called her, and she's like, he calls me and he's like, well, I don't know how you get up in the morning every day. And she was like, but that was a good thing for me, because I actually was getting up every morning. I'm after getting the worst news ever. And she compares like failures to guideposts. So it's not a failure, it's going from guidepost to guidepost. And I just think people speaking about such like negative things in their life or making them feel, and breaking it down and making their own sense of it, helps you understand why you're feeling the way you are. And then when they are speaking about it, sometimes you do let out a wee bit of a cry, like, as well, you know.
I seen it was a Christmas last year. I remember Liverpool released a video of this young fan from Cavan. I don't know what disease. I remember you seen it, Paul. I remember you sent it to me. Like, I was tearing, like reading it, like, or watching the video. Like, he went over and met Klopp and the players at the training ground, went to a match. I don't know what. He'd some like rare condition or something, and like he was a massive Liverpool fan, and they seen it and took him over, and like his father was in floods of tears. Like, when the players and that come in, he was just so happy for his son because of he's had a very hard life, and like things like that. When you see, like, when it's really like help someone, like something so small, like that's for small, but like even the smallest things can help anyone. Like, you see, if you just ask someone sometimes, you doing alright or doing okay, come out for a coffee, it could mean the world to them, even if it's just random, you wouldn't even know what's going on. I think even the smallest things can help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, me personally, like, just say feeling like shite, like someone goes, oh, you come for a coffee, or going to the cinema or something like that. That, like, oh yeah, happy there's something.
Are you feeling bad this morning, texting you about Gladiator on Friday already?
Yeah. Niall was on to me, he goes, well, we go see Gladiator, and I was like, yeah, and he goes, right, and I go, sure, I'll text the usual cinema boys, always want to go. Yeah. And I'm like, actually, I only text you because I'm like, one of those days today.
The Gallagher fella, that's just an Everton.
What about him stuck? Actually, speaking of the Gallagher fella, I want to give one shout out before of that machine stuck in the sand that he said would get through any terrain.
And would you notice the difference maybe between when Mog passed and when Sean passed? Like, we were saying, obviously Mog's was maybe a bit of a shock because, you know, and then we obviously knew that Sean, you know, had cancer, and then it came back. But to me, I remember I was sitting in Muck and Fra rang me, and he was just, his voice was breaking down the phone. He just told me, and I literally had to get off the seat and just had to ring my team leader, crying down the phone, and just but they didn't, like, they kind of knew, you know, what it was about, because they knew I spoke about him in Muck and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, what hard was Sean, obviously Sean was sick in that, and he rang me, he used to come down to Rob's, and I was just a random night, and I was grand, I went down, and I knew there was something wrong as soon as I went in. And it was a nightmare then when Sean did pass. My mum and dad were away again. Like, they were in Spain actually at the time. They just flew out the day before. And I was in work, and Elaine rang me. And
Tell them to never go on a holiday.
Oh, that's true. And Elaine rang me.
Please just stay in Ireland.
Elaine rang me and just obviously told me what happened. It was just a nightmare. And Fra and Doe actually came round to the office then. I was like, yeah, like, it was kind of, you knew it was kind of coming. I don't want to say that in a bad way. Like, like, because when he told me, like, I knew. Yeah. And then when it actually happened, it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, like.
I didn't want him either. Yeah, I didn't want to believe it as long as it was going on. Like, I always thought he was going to.
Yeah,
like,
so
come
did
out.
I.
So it was hit me, I think, even harder because I had that belief. Like, and then when he did go, like, it was
He'd
hard.
give you that belief though, like, 'cause he
The
never
strength of the man,
never complained, never feeling sorry for himself. That's why he's so
He was
much
always,
respect. Like,
always the same, Sean.
Yeah, always. Like, I mean, the
Used to fucking
strength.
slag
like,
himself about it, for fuck's sake.
He was giving me dogs one day. He had the lung cancer. He was like, I bet you in a 5K. And I was like, well, you give me a break, will you? He was bombing down the bank and
he did.
freezing. Yeah, of course he did. Bombing down the bank because he didn't want it. Like, he didn't want it. He was defeating it like the whole time, and then just...
Chap was going through chemo and won that fuck off tournament with you and your team.
Yeah, my team. Yeah.
That's
You know what I mean?
was
Like,
him
that just sums it up,
He
like.
didn't like the lose.
Competitive.
No, didn't like to lose. But
Playing a game of FIFA an hour.
Yeah.
Honestly,
nearly
he's
put the
blessed
controller through your
that
head if you bet him.
they own Eddie Maguire's, because the amount of pads he went through on PlayStations was a disgrace. Like, you'd be beating him in NBA and it'd just be pure dumb luck. And I mean, pads be bouncing off the wall. All here's a lady shouting off the stairs. I'd be wet myself laughing. Oh, it was,
But I think,
brilliant, yeah.
like, going back to the question, Dada, like, there were two different types of
All of them are
examples,
unique,
because
yeah.
they all, everything's unique. Like, no,
Unique.
but with them two comparing, like, obviously one was sudden one and the other one was obviously cancer. You've seen, you know, when you're one of your best friends getting worse and worse, and it's tough to take, whether, no matter how positive you're trying to be, you know, there will be times even through that state, like through the cycle, that you're going, like, maybe there's doubts coming in your head going, maybe this, like, it won't get better, you know, and you start to that doubt starts to creep in more and more, but then you have to shake yourself out of it and, like, try and say, no, you're thinking too, you need to stop thinking negatively. So it's just a struggle. Like, it's not, with Sean, it wasn't just as I said, one time where, like, you find out a shock that he's passed. It's more so throughout that whole battle that you're going, he can get better. Then you hear news that he's gone back in the hospital and you're going, fuck's sake. Do you know? Yeah, exactly. So for, like, he'd be out with us, and then a week later you hear that he's gone back in for another round. You're going, Jesus Christ. Like, I know, I'm trying to think things were going good. So you're getting knocked back every time. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously he came to it.
Yeah, I think what maybe I felt so bad about more so was with Moog, like, we were at the age where you're out, you're always doing the same things, you're in the same jobs, you're going out, you're going to queues, whatever you're doing. Whereas when we were at the age Sean was, and I know I'm talking like I'm an alpha here, but and we were only, 25, 26, I was. It felt a lot more disconnected, and I didn't see him, and I probably blame myself.
It was COVID and that as well.
It was COVID, yeah.
That you couldn't get in, and that's what more so annoyed me, that you couldn't get in to see him, and
because we had such a large friends
You're
group.
always going to have doubts, like, or you're always going to regrets.
Yeah, regrets
is the word, like, why didn't I go down that day? Like, that kind of hit me for a while after, like, with the, like, oh, why didn't I go down that day, or why? Because, like, I've missed out on it for forever. Like, it's But that was a real, like, that was a tough one for me, and it's still not over, to be honest. Like, it's
I don't think I am.
But, like, I know some people like the graveyard. I try and avoid it. Like, I don't like the graveyard, to be honest. I just
as a place, or just
no, like, it's just for going out, like, just for myself. Like, obviously here, like, I go to Blessing, I go out, but personally, like, I just
I'm the same, but I'm not the biggest,
like, to be honest. That'd be, like, that would hit me.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. Like I know a lot of people.
It doesn't affect me like that. I don't think. I wouldn't say I don't like it, but I wouldn't say I love it. Like,
no, but I'm not saying like I don't. But I don't feel like I was trying to get the words out to say what.
It brings them thoughts back as well. Like, when you're going,
it's just like a reminder. Like, it's
real. It's real. Like, that's what it is.
The triggers you talk about, like songs and stuff. Do you know what triggered for me? And it was so annoying, and it was probably due to the fact that I didn't talk enough about it, and that's why it's leaking out in random times. Like, see, if I was watching a film and someone died in it, I felt like I was in their shoes. I swear to God,
lads. Avengers was someone's
like
parents, like, you know.
But even just normal film. I remember me, Craven was definitely there. I remember his hood. I think Dole might have been there. But we went to see, was it Apollo Creed's son? What's that called, them films?
It's just Creed.
Sorry, yeah. Oh, the first or the second one, and he fights someone, but someone dies in it. And I remember the boys were sitting there, and I was bawling, crying, and I'm dying, and I'm there trying to, like, put my hand up like that, or just pretend you're yawning. Not the way when you're yawning, your eyes water sometimes. But I didn't want to be crying in front of people or talking, because sometimes I feel like, you know, you're putting people in awkward situations. Some people don't like dealing with that, do you know what I mean? So maybe sometimes it is better to stay quiet, but I think you need to find the right people to talk to about it.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be staying quiet. Like, that's the whole the point of this conversation there, like, is to open up about stuff, like, and I don't think any fella should be ashamed of, like, crying or, like, don't want to put someone in an awkward situation, because the other person who's there when you're crying, like, was probably thinking, I'd rather him cry in front of me than on his own or in someone else. But I know, like, it's just all in your own head that, oh, I can't be crying here, like, what are the boys gonna say, like, but nobody in general really cares, like, they want to help, like,
that's the stigma, isn't it, John?
That is the stigma, completely, like, but I feel I'd be like you, McKenna, like, if you see someone's, like, mother dying in a movie, like, I just start crying. You should be thinking
you feel like you're in their shoes,
thinking about it in your own head, like,
you feel like you're like, this is what this person's thinking, and you're like, I wish I could actually help them, but there's nothing you can do.
It's the locked away thoughts that you have, that, you know, like, you've experienced this, well, obviously, like, in different situations, and it's just, it overflows sometimes, and that's just,
you know what they're going through as well, in a sense, like,
because even there at Christmas I was in the rum house, and I can't remember exactly what it was. That's how drunk I was. And I just remember Tez looking at me holding the shot, and I just remember thinking of, like, Razor, like, and then boom, and I just literally could not stop crying, like, had to leave, like, the rum house, like,
it's little triggers. You wouldn't even know it yourself what it is, like,
something so simple, like, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, someone probably fucked ahead of me if it was a trigger for Razor, I'd say.
With me personally, well, it didn't help that fucking 5 weeks after Sean died, my dad died, so that definitely didn't help. I'm going to my personal instance with my dad. It's not movies, it's not, well, obviously it is music. It's not instances of movie, it's the big moments in my life. Do you know what I mean? So, like I know my dad's not going to be there to walk out in the aisle if I get married to, or get my first house. Do you know what I mean? So it's the big moments where I'm thinking, like, you know, I'd love for him to be there to see that. Do you know what I mean? Like, them big things in my life where I'm going, now I'm happy that he's, like, I'd like to think that, you know, Kerry's the one, he's met her and stuff like that, and I get comfort in that. But it's when I'm looking forward, going, like, you know, if I have a child, you know, etc., that's the points that will kill me, that'll get me. And, like, as I said, my coping mechanism for that is thinking, looking back and going, well, look, you know, he's all the good moments, you know, and it's, as I said, it's easy to look back to good moments, but I mean, I keep on reminding, you know, it's not all bad, you know what I mean? Like, it's, with him as well, what happened was he wasn't getting better. What happened to him was, like, he was sick, and how he passed was a shock at the time, but he wasn't getting better. So I kind of start thinking to myself, like, maybe it's a blessing in disguise, because if knowing him personally, like, knowing him, he'd hate for us, anybody, even including myself, if he'd hate for someone to see your last memories, you know, as you said, going up to the hospital, making them trips, etc. Like, I don't like bring it up like we did with Sean. Do you know what I mean? We were up with him as much as we could, you know, seeing him getting worse, and it kills you. It kills you as a friend. Whereas my dad, I didn't, like, he went through the sickness, but he didn't get to that stage where I was going up and it was like a losing battle. Do you know what I mean? But it was still a shock, but it wasn't a losing battle. So I kind of trying to find comfort in myself, going, like, maybe that's the way he wanted it. If you would have said to him, like, when it happened, would you rather go sudden or would you rather do it? He would just go, take me away now. Do you know what I mean? So it's finding what thoughts suit me. Do you know what I mean? What, like, as I said, each individual has their own ways. It might not be music, movies. I was like, what thoughts suit me? And every time I struggle with something, I kind of go back to them thoughts and go, look, you know, it's what he wanted, you know, etc., etc.
The good outweigh the bad, like,
yeah, that kind of thing. Do you know? It's,
I think he will be there, OCC. I know not. I
know, but like, it's the big moments. That's what I said. It's the big moments in my life that I'm just kind of going, like, you know, I'd love for, including Sean and Morgan, like, I'd love all my best friends to be there. That you're kind of going, like, I'd love for them to be there, because it's, you feel great. Like, obviously the moment's amazing, but you will have one or two times throughout that moment where you're going, I wish everyone I loved was here. Do you know?
Fair play to you, CC.
I'd like to think,
it's a very tough time, like.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to think, though, they're all up there waiting for us. I think that comforts me in a way.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, it's a bit fair to say we had a rough few years.
It's not like we've obviously experienced very traumatic things in the last years, but even like for anyone else, like something could be so small that could be having a same effect on you. Like, so we're trying to get like, doesn't matter how small the problem is, to speak about, just to speak about it. You can pull one of your friends, even a random person that you would feel comfortable talking to try and get it out instead of trying to lock it up. Because we said we done it the hard way, kind of bottle it all up, and it takes its toll big time. Like,
did you find yourself like accidentally, how do I say it, doing like subliminally going like acting not yourself, and it's only when you look back going, geez, I didn't realise how much that affected me until I'm looking back at it now. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think you do at the time, because you probably try
that,
to
no, that's what I mean. But that's what I mean. But looking back, and if you look back, you go,
naturally.
I think they change.
Naturally, every
that's what
time,
I mean. Like
everyone does as well.
Like I thought.
I don't think like I took it out on anyone in my house.
No. I mean
like
small
that.
things. Like looking back on, like I remember like me myself, a month after everything that happened, a month and a half, I was back working, and I thought, like, you know, back in routine, this is great, you know what I mean? And I felt like routines do help.
Yeah.
But there was one or two times, even for the year after in work, like I'm looking back, like I was making mistakes, and like they were silly mistakes, like not something that like, oh no, it's not your fault. Like they were blatantly stupid mistakes, and I'm looking back and going like,
your mind was elsewhere.
My mind was elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? And now I can look back and going like, I wasn't obviously 100% right there.
Yeah, yes, man.
Because I was, my mind was elsewhere. I was thinking about something else. It obviously affected me. You know, I'm not using it to blame it, but it has a massive part to play. And some people can honestly be looking back now. Some people can say like they'll lose themselves because they'll think they're acting fine at the time, but they can look back and go like, that was just not me. I don't know why I done that. Do you know?
I don't know. I think walk had the opposite effect. I think I like walk helped me.
No, that's a good thing, because it just shows that, you know, it's not the same.
I think it was something to focus on rather than focusing on the negatives, even though people might say walk's a negative, but like focusing and it just took my mind off it, especially when you're fully concentrated or something. There was no like space for the intrusive thoughts to get in. So I felt like it helped me, definitely. I know people are different and people take time off walking. It probably depends who might pass away and stuff like that, but I definitely thought it helped me.
I'd be the same as you, McKenna. Just it's
concentration. Does it give you a sense of control, maybe? I don't know. Does it give you a sense of control when you know what you're doing? Like,
just kind of like that it's almost like you're in a different world. Like you're just kind of like when you clock in, right, this is work, focus on work, don't have to think about it.
See the way I was walking at home as well, and you're in the room, it's like you're up in the room, it's a safe space, no one come in and can ask you, unless it's your family, how you feeling, how are this, especially when you don't want to talk about it. That's what I think it helped for me, like.
No, like I'd be like, just takes your mind, like put your mind like it's not like it's an intrusive thought, so you're not like sitting about wandering or thinking, like you're like kind of focused. You knew what you had to do like at the time, and you weren't like kind of I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Like you were focused.
Well, folks, just a reminder that we're having the Loud Crowd Presents the Blue Mile on the 24th November. We're meeting at 12 o'clock in Little Car Park, and I really hope you can all come and show your support. Thank you.
You're looking into the camera there, John. I keep forgetting it's on.
Look, the point, as I said, organising the Blue Mile is to raise awareness for men's mental health, along with prostate cancer, etc. And questions I'd like to throw among yourselves is, you know, everyone has different reasons that they'd like to donate, raise money, etc., etc. But what's your why? Why are you doing it personally? Can you give a reason that's more personal to you as to why you think that you want to do this? Why you believe in it?
Yeah, I have a why. So basically, the story to tell is I don't know. Most people know this. I chipped my 2 front teeth. So when I chipped my 2 front teeth. Do you know the story how it happened, yeah? Or do you just want me to get the audience in?
I'm trying to... It was a playing football.
You'd have to reach me.
Was it playing football?
No. So basically what happened was every Friday my mum used to take me and spud over to the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And we were messing in the swimming pool one day and I robbed his hat. So I was running away from obviously trying to get up out of the pool, and I went to go up on the pool like that there with my hands, and I had the hat under it, and Spud pulled it. And boom, smashed the 2 front teeth clean off it. It wasn't overly sore, but you know what was very sore? The wind going up into the crack. And
the sensitivity,
really sore.
That's something like that gives me like
shivers.
So but and which makes it a bit more probably ironic is that my brother chipped his two front teeth as well. So my mum had two of them to go through, so she was
same time like
twice. No, Shane's was a few years before.
Same
He was
dentist
running on the
loves
street or
that.
something. But yeah, at that time I suppose when I did chip my two front teeth, I was always like kind of, my mum would tell you I was a bit of a mad child. So
what age were you? Just kind of.
I think I was
27.
I think I was 125 months.
Oh, don't do this to me.
I was about 10. I
was doing the math in my head going, no.
10, 12, that's what it was. I think it was about 9 or 10. I was in 5th or 6th class.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically when I chipped my teeth at the time, found the fact that your teeth are only bone in your body that don't regenerate when you break them, which is my luck. But my mum would always say I was a bit of a mad child or whatever. I used to always be a bit hyper smiley and all after that. But there's pictures, like I have pictures in my scrapbook, and there's a picture of me like we were at some thing out in St. Stephenstown Pond, I don't know what it was. But there's a picture of me in the newspaper and I'm like smiling like that, but I'm smiling with like my
covering your mouth. Yeah.
But they would always say to me like, that's the day I lost my smile. Because after that I'd never smile, because see, when you do chip your teeth, I think at that age as well I started becoming more emotionally intelligent as to feeling social things.
See that emotionally intelligent stuff. I was thinking emotionally, I couldn't think of the word. I said emotionally.
Did you not say that one?
I said emotionally aware, but the right phrase is emotionally intelligent. Thank God you said that. It was killing me all episode. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, read the Daily Mail. But yeah, like before, I don't think you think about things or think about how your luck or anything like that. But then when I busted my two front teeth, that's when I really felt it. And now in this day and age, you're at a place where, like, I got my teeth done there a few years ago by Lauren Luke's girlfriend.
Yeah, Lauren Smith.
Which absolute phenomenal job. Like, like it's nearly like an art, I think. But back in those days, it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was literally, my two front teeth used to be big white ones, and then boom, I was left with like,
it was obvious, like kind of
discoloration.
Yeah,
like
discoloration. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So like, when they say it's that day, I think I went into my shell a wee bit more. I didn't know how to talk about it. Didn't know how to say it. Felt like I would have felt like, and I don't know how cheesy this is going to sound, like I would have been a popular boy in school or whatever like that. You know? And then
the jock.
Yeah, the jock.
But you would have been the happy, cheery one. Do you know what I mean? You would have been the happy, cheery one. Like the one making a joke, having a smile, having a laugh, kind of.
Yeah, that's it. And I just went into myself basically a wee bit. And then I felt, because that happened to me, that made me struggle a bit more in my growing up years. I didn't go out as much as I should have. I used to hate going outside when it was bright, because I would feel people would be able to see the discoloration in my teeth more. I used to only like coming out at night. Even in the summer when we were in secondary school, stuff and that, used to knock them out till 6, 7 o'clock, whatever.
Batman, so
yeah, basically nocturnal. But this is the stuff that makes you feel.
I know. But what was your?
It's mad, like when you're so young, like how.
Yeah, that's
like,
how much.
What was your like to bring on a positive note? Like, what was your turning point when you said, you know what, like, I'm fine with this? Do you know, like,
Lauren sorted me out. Honestly, I swear to God, I was so conscious of my teeth. I remember Mattis used to always say to me, he was like, that stupid smile you do where you cover your teeth and all. And he probably only thinks as if, why is he smiling so stupidly like that? But this was even after I got my teeth done, because I still have a kind
muscle
of
memory, isn't it?
Do it, like, just to cover it.
And him saying that, I hope he listens. He feels terrible now.
Yeah,
no, I'm joking.
He will be listening.
See, you didn't have your flashes on your cameras as well to make the teeth look a bit wider and stuff like that. So every picture I was looking, I wouldn't even look at it, and I was just looking to see if my teeth were in it. And sorry, what was your question exactly?
What was your positive? What was your kind of? Did you have a moment where you just kind of said, like, you know, I need to get
fuck it, go on, like,
I get over it. Yeah, I'm over it.
No, not really. Just when she done that job and kind of fixed them,
Built
and I felt
confidence kind
kind
of.
of half
Oh, that's
satisfied.
really
with
fine,
it.
Like
yeah.
an adrenaline like thing when she showed you like a
When
word
she
on,
showed
like,
me, I have a picture on my phone. I
Yeah.
always go back to it, and I sent it in a Snapchat straight away because I was like, "This is actually the first time I can sit down and enjoy myself and not worry about someone even taking a picture of me half off guard and seeing the discoloration, anything like that. Like if those cameras around my mouth, straight zap closed. But yeah, when she done that, it was amazing feeling. Like just being able to smile free, and sometimes I'd be down in the mirror in my bathroom in the front room and I'd just be like smiling into it and I'd be like, holy fuck, I wish I had this my whole fucking life.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
sit around walking and just smile at himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Walked
about you,
walked in and me doing worse.
See the way like it's great like that you've been able to fix the problem like, and
it has to be refixed again. I got them redone for the 30th now.
What about you, Paddy? What's your why?
My why?
No, it's you don't have to give us. If you just want to do it because you believe in the actual cause, it's fair enough.
I'd be a big advocate for this cause. Like even with in regards to people dying around town from suicide,
yeah,
the likes of
absolutely,
Maxie McAllister, Harry Taff, like they went to try and get help, and the system failed them essentially, like in this country. So I'd be a big advocate for like boys or anyone in general speaking out. It doesn't have to be a fella. Everyone speak out if you need help. Like, so that'd be my why. Like just people went to get help and
they've done what everyone said you should be doing. They've done it and they were let down, kind of.
And they've done it and they were let down. Like people tell you to go and seek help, like in these different places, like, and then systems letting them down.
People,
I think it's ridiculous that to send people like with mental health problems to A&E sometimes. Like it's absolute madness. Like they're like surgeons and all that. Like they're not psychiatrists or who you need to speak to. Like I've heard of people like that who have committed to being in A&E for hours and they're told to go home. Like,
they're just trying to pass the buck for someone else to give them the badness.
That's what it is.
But imagine how bad you're feeling there and you're told, no, this place is going to get you better. The next while you go to that place,
get turned away.
Just fuck you off.
Just get turned away.
How bad do you feel? Like if you don't feel,
I felt bad about my teeth. They're adults about this, feeling that, and then they're told, no, this is how you get the help, and you go to get the help, and then
I don't think it's like the actual, like when they go to this place. Like I don't think it's the people there. Like that's there's obviously the system. It's the system that is failing it, because like if someone's coming up to you looking for help, there's no one. I don't think I don't want to believe that there's anyone who just go, well, you fuck away off, like.
As you said, but the boys passing away, and I think Champ mentioned this last week, how much of the good side of people did we see when the boys passed away? So if these are people's professions, I definitely don't think
I don't think, as I said, if someone I don't want to believe someone like who they did come up to someone and then they did commit suicide, or like, oh, go, like, I can't help you, like. But the smallest thing can help, like.
I completely agree with Champ's point there. Like I think I said this during my dad's funeral. Actually, I think I came out and said it, and it's kind of a quote that I kind of stick by. It's kind of like,
a good one
at the worst of times, you see the best in people. Do you know? So like, it kind of through the worst of times, you kind of just start realizing, like, if you had a problem with someone, or if they're going through something, and let's say they're going through something terrible, you're going like, that problem's nothing. Like, you put your hand out to them, going, you okay? Do you know, people?
Once you understand,
exactly. People that
you should understand it. That's all.
People that you don't even realize, or they wouldn't even think that would like lend you a hand, would happily help you out. Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of quote I kind of stick by.
I have another good one with that. I remember I sent it to Sean the first time he was diagnosed. It's the pain you feel today will be your strength tomorrow. I love that one.
But like that's going back to what Champ said, what you see going through a tough time, but you see how good everyone can be around you, etc., etc. And then, as he said, there's, on the flip side, what Paddy said, there's been times where people will cry out for help and there's nothing there, and it's not, as I said, the personal individual's fault, it's the system's fault. And I don't like you saying it's just the system's fault, but it's just the way everything's, lack of resources, etc., etc. And it's mismanagement, lack of funding, it's
so many things,
bigger picture kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's not just a point on an individual or a doctor or something going, it was your fault, or etc. It's bigger picture stuff. What's your why?
I'd be the same as kind of Paddy and that, like, just
What about yourself?
Just like I just agree. Like, I just like for anyone to just you don't want that to happen. Like, imagine family member. It's the worst phone call you could ever get. Like, it's just...
You'd like to think yourself if you needed help, someone.
Oh
would help
yeah,
you,
absolutely. And I feel I would like we would be able to, but just the comfortable. That's just saying the confidence of speaking out about it. Then at the time, like, it's just no problem is too big, like, or too small.
Yeah. I think that's the whole point of it. No problems. That's the best way to put it. No problems too big or too small. You know, someone's hill could be another person's mountain. Is the best way to put it. You know.
Talking about Kerry, though.
Man, there's a height joke every week. There's honestly a height joke every single week.
He's not getting away with it.
Yeah.
You have to make it laughy as well, Kerry. Apologies.
Yeah.
What about you, CC?
I think it's just kind of knowing myself that I can try and do something to help the bigger picture kind of thing. Like, knowing that I didn't want to be one just saying speak up and it's okay to speak up, etc. I wanted to do it myself and be like, you know, I want to be an example. Being an example is the best way to put it. I wanted to be an example that, you know, it's okay to speak up, or it's, you know, we want to raise money to help the stigma around it, because everything we've been through, you know, it's important that we can still talk about it as friends, talk about it publicly, etc. Talk about coping mechanisms, you know.
Use your experience to help.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I think it's just wanting to be an example for people, you know, not like, I don't care about spotlight or anything like that, but I want somebody that wouldn't even think about talking to me about something, just getting this inspiration to go, I can talk to someone about this. Do you know what I mean? It's completely normal. If 8 lads can do it, why can't I? If 8 lads can organise a walk, a 4K walk for in aid of mental health, why can't I go and do this? It's not just
4K, by the way.
It's less. But like, that's what I mean. It's not just an example of speaking up. It's an example of doing something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
of if you really believe in something, putting an action to it and helping in any way you can for a cause that you truly believe in. Because I feel like that's in itself rewarding, but personally rewarding, because you feel great and you're going like, this is what I believe in, this is what I want to do, and I'm actioning it instead of just, as I said, criticizing and not doing it. And I actually want to push myself to do it because it's coming out. Like, I've never done, I think I've raised money before years ago, but I've never done a walk. I've never done something like that. I've never publicly come out and said something, you know, so it's stepping out of the box as well.
Just hoping it can even help like one person. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
That'd be a beneficial of it, like benefit of it, like hopefully more, but even if it done help one person, like you'd feel good, like.
Yeah.
Do you have any coping mechanisms in general for if you're down, like not just obviously?
I know this is going to be it, but my dogs. Like, honestly, like my mum would tell you, if the week my dad died, you know, when you know yourselves, you know, when we're down, when you're down at the wakes and stuff, the wake was in the funeral home, but like when there's still family down the house, it's exhausting. It's like a relay of people just coming in and out the door, and
like all
exactly. And like, fair enough, in the morning and stuff you're fine, but then again it gets to like 4 or 5 in the day and you're socially gone. Your social battery's gone, and you know people mean well, and you're just, but at the end of the day you're just going, I can't keep doing this. So like, if people come down to the house after the wake, I would just go out the back and just sit with 2 dogs. That's just pet 2 dogs. My man, like, and people would be like, is he alright out there? He's been out there like, I mean, for an hour or so. He's been out there a very long time. It's cold and that. My mum would just be like, let him do it.
Dogs know, right? Like, you see, like when you're sick, or like, they know.
It's mental. Like, one of the times, the first night of my dad's wake, the 2 dogs were just in the house, and I know dogs always do this, but Buttons has never done this until that night, where I was just lying on the couch and like just had my arm out, just watching TV, and she just jumped up, put herself on my arm, and just fell asleep on my arm, and I was like, she's never done this before. They know, like I said, they know, they 100% know. So like, me myself, I just buried myself in them too. Do you know, I just, anytime I was feeling uncomfortable with everything, overwhelmed.
It sounded a bit wrong.
Yeah, that sounded wrong. Fuck's sake. But like, I'm only joking. I just go straight out to them and just be with them. I just be like, shut off from the world. Do you know what I mean? Just away from everything.
Child.
But dogs are so innocent. Like, they're so like
they know, but like they're still oblivious. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd be the same as
They can't ask any questions.
I'm gone for 2 minutes. I come back at the back out. They're just so happy to see me.
Yeah.
And they're just like, where have you been the last 2 minutes? Do you know?
And what do you do? Just walk past them and ignore them.
Take the head of it.
yeah.
That's why he knows they're there.
Me myself, I just, as you said, the two dogs, and even these days now, if the two dogs, 100%. Like, and some people might be the exact same. They're pets because even like,
No, I can understand.
oblivious to the world, oblivious to the problems that's going on. As I said,
Just simple.
you're gone 2 minutes, you come back, best thing ever. They're like, where have you been? I love you. Do you know? And it just makes you feel good though. It gives you that kind of a dopamine that you're just kind of like
out doing the Gangnam style when you come in.
yeah, they're going nuts.
It is,
But yeah,
it's mental,
that's it's. I can't get over how much they've helped me through it. Like 100%.
Yes, I must get one.
No,
Me
like
too.
even with the two
just-
boys, like I'd be like home if I'm ever like feeling like shit, I just go get the two dogs in the car and like be driving about and go to the Starbucks to get them a puppuccino. Sure, the Corby's rotten, but the dogs thinks this is great.
Yeah.
To be out and you'd be going for a spin and the two boys be looking up at you, going bananas then, like mad to go
Yeah,
with
I
everyone.
know.
Just like a bit of crack. Like even if you start like go for a walk and we're like in the summer now, you take them out the back or whatever. And like the enjoyment, see if you sit for a half hour, even just throwing the ball or like I'd be trying to practice the golf swing and hitting like just the tennis or whatever. The boys be getting.
You weren't hitting it
trying-
straight. You won't be hitting it
mad.
straight.
Look at the walls in my house, and I wasn't using the golf ball. 'Cause I had a few broken windows, but like just saying there, like they're just there's no like conversation with them.
Yeah.
It's just they want to play. They come up, blah blah blah. And they're saying like even with the
simple.
going to the stops, like the boys know like when they're pulling up now. Like Hugo would be sitting like in the passenger seat of the car, and see when we pull up the Starbucks. He just turns around the other way and he's sitting there waiting because he knows what's coming now.
Yeah.
And the lips be licked, and I mean the puppuccino is the
Yeah,
cream.
but it's that
he's
thing
all
of-
over the. He's rotten, but like it's just.
It just helps.
It's great. It's a great laugh because every time
it's the temporary kind of happiness and like you forget that everything's going on because you're just so happy to see them and they're so happy to see you, and it's like, as I said, it was just such a comforting thing for me, and without them, like I don't know how I would have coped. Like that's genuinely, I don't know how I would have coped. And that's not saying like, you know, I love all my friends, like yous are always there for me and yous are always there throughout everything, but like
Use talk.
yeah. If I ignore my dogs, they still love me. If I ignore you, just give me an earful. Do you know?
Rightly so.
I'm joking.
No, we still love you though, Cece.
Yeah.
Even
What
though
about
you know
yourself,
us.
John?
Just the boys, all yous.
Yeah.
It's my coping mechanism.
The boys.
The boys.
The lads.
Yeah. No, just talking in general. Like, I don't think there's any problems like I couldn't come to use with, like, no matter who it is. Could be anyone on a given day. Like, just you feel like kind of talking to about it, like, or know that might relate to you a wee bit more. Like, yeah, that's how I'd cope. Really, you're just been on my own sometimes. I just like to be on my own, like, you know, in just that space where you're just sitting and relaxing.
I love being on my own. Sometimes
I love being on my
and you just think
I know
you
you
just
sometimes on the PlayStation too, but
yeah.
We
know,
done
but
up
like-
our playroom, like me and Niall and Mark, just so we can go in and sit by ourselves and like telly on, close the doors. Like my room, like in our house, like just the sitting room downstairs attached to the kitchen. There's always people kind of in and out of that. But in that room, you close the door, telly on the wall, planted the watch like Netflix.
Is it soundproof or something if you're watching Liverpool games?
No, I watch them in the kitchen. No, they're
you
what
want
are they
nuclear
called?
proof for that.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
they are.
that's
The cinema room. As
That's
they
a great
say.
point. What he said though, like some people can find comfort in being alone. You know, and like as I said, each person's individual. That's one thing we're always saying. You know, talk to your friends and stuff like that. And it's obviously it is important to speak up. But you know, sometimes if you feel like you're comfortable on your own from the outside world, that's completely fine. You know, I like being on my own sometimes. I love it sometimes. You know, because sometimes you just need it. You know, you just need to reset, or you just need to relax and just kind of shut off.
What
I
I
think
done
you can
last
shut
year.
off a bit better. You
Yeah,
don't have to
exactly.
worry about anyone and their feelings,
No.
and if they want to talk or stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know.
I'd gone it was last year, done a bit of Lego. Started building like the big piece of Lego and I like what the Hogwarts castle, and took me like it was a couple of weeks to do it, and we're like a week, but I'd like just say every evening come in from work, get dinner, blah blah blah, and then sitting down at the table, everyone's away, sitting at the table and concentrates concentrates the mind.
That's nearly everything there, and like work, Lego. I was going to say playing maybe PlayStation games, just play GTA online or whatever. When you're fully concentrated or something, the thoughts can't get in.
Like Lego was relaxing, and then don't get me wrong, it was frustrating when you missed like a few times I had to rip apart half, like Jesus Christ. It's I don't like Niall done one. It was like 10,000 meters, the big Millennium Falcon. When I sent it to you, it's like it was mental, like the amount of piece. I don't know if I'd have the patience for that one now, but
You still find peace in doing Lego, though. Do you know what I mean?
all
You find
piece. It
peace
was
in
like
doing
like
it.
see like now like what people have everything like different. Like walk now is like going for a walk, or people. The gym is a big one for people in that as well.
Yeah, gym's massive.
Gym, big
massive. Yeah.
That's a space there where you can just headphones in, world out.
Would music be one for you? It's like you said, headphones in, like, or
see, I wouldn't so much say music, maybe tribute videos. Like them.
You only get one in MV or so you can listen to it.
That would be awful.
Watch it.
Did you see actually Eddie's new like 5D headphones or whatever? Yeah, unbelievable. But sorry, just to ask one wee last question. I know we're probably coming to time. Do you think a cancel would have helped you?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I'm not going to say no, because I've never been to one, so I don't know, but...
Has that made you shy away from it, or
too
is there a
busy.
stigma around it?
No, I think so. I'd rather try to get through the problem myself, kind of, than I don't ever felt like... I probably have needed to, but I don't ever felt like, I'm going to go, like I've dabbled on the thought a few times and then just kicked it down the road like as normal, like push everything off.
I think with a counsellor...
It just depends. Like everyone has a different experience with it.
Yeah, as I said, we're all sitting here going like, oh no, we felt I didn't need one. But if we went to one, they would make us realise certain things that even talking about now, we might not realise because they're professionals in the way. You know what I mean? They're specialised in that kind of stuff. So, you know, if it's grand for us to say, I don't feel like I need one, but like, that's not us saying they wouldn't do an amazing job. You know, they could open up stuff that we never even thought of. I spoke to Gray a few times in Queues, and like he's a counsellor. I can remember.
Yeah, I was there.
And I think you were there with me at the time as well. And like, I felt like it could, but that's because I know him as well. It's kind of more comfortable speaking with it. But
maybe we could touch on this a bit more next week, will we? On counsellors and going and dealing with that. Yeah. Well, just. Idea. I'll wrap us up, lads. Just thanks very much everyone for all the donations and supporting our Movember cause. I all hope to see us on the 24th in Little, and thanks again for watching, guys.
Thank you very much.
12 o'clock.
Chat soon.
Don't forget it.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear. The crowd is here.